Hello, welcome everyone. We'll give it a couple of moments here to let everyone make their way into the webinar. I know it's the week of July 4th, so might be a little bit on downtime, relaxed time. We'll give them a couple moments to come in. While we're waiting for people to make their way in, if you'd like to go down into the chat, it's located, it's not just me on here, so it's located down here somewhere. You can click on chat and change it from host and panelist to everyone. And if you'd like to go in and share who you are, where you're from, what you do, um, and that way everybody can know who everyone is. Right. Arena, Tulane, Omaha, Nebraska. Awesome. We'll let people continue to make their way in. We'll go ahead and get started with some introductions. My name is David Green. I am the Partner Engagement Manager here at Harmonize. I lead a lot of our webinars, trainings, support, outreach, conferences, a little bit of everything. You'll see my face around. Um, I was at the Teaching and Learning with AI conference a couple of weeks ago. Did not get to attend the USDLA conference. Um, but Alan, my colleague, he was there, and so was Cheryl, and I'll let them do some quick introductions of themselves. Cheryl, if you want to start out.
Sure, absolutely. I'm Cheryl Oberlin. I'm the Director of Distance Education at the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, and I'm also on the USDLA Board, Advisory Board.
Yep. And I am Alan Manley, and I'm the director of sales here at Harmonize. And if any of you all were at USDLA, I might have seen you there.
Mhm.
Someone said you must have grew a beard since
I'm responding.
USDLA.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
he threw
beard.
me off when I
Yeah.
saw him. I didn't know it
I,
was him.
yeah. It comes and goes. I can grow it pretty quick. So just depends on what time of the month you see me as to whether I might have one or not.
I heard his voice, and that's what tuned me in. I'm like, oh, that's Alan. Where is he?
Yeah. Not too many Southern accents like mine in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Cleveland. Me and Alan get the Southern boy treatment from the rest of the crew at 42 Lines Harmonized. So, well, this today's webinar. Thank you USDLA for helping sponsor this. They promoted this for us. Um, and this one is a special one because this one is specifically a follow up from the USDLA conference, which Cheryl and Alan attended. And I thought we'd start out just real quickly if you guys wanted to kind of give a kind of overview of what you thought about the conference and how things went and some maybe key takeaways you had.
Sure. I thought it went really well. I was actually very surprised that Cleveland is a super clean city. The hotel was beautiful. The conference went great, but the city just amazed me. And our keynote speakers were Josh Pinzel and Betty Danowitz. Josh gave us a really great presentation on AI and things to think about. And Betty did hers on imposter syndrome and that we all have it. And that was really good too. She had it has everybody name their imposter that sits on your shoulder and tells you you're not good enough to do things. But we all are. So like I have all of my um, college diplomas or certificates sit on the wall in front of me. So when I feel like this is crazy, why am I doing this? Then I see all those. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I am qualified. So kind of fun.
Alan, anything you took away from the conference?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I always like about USDLA, and I've been to probably 200 education conferences over the last 15 to 20 years, is that, USDLA, they intentionally keep it small.
Mhm.
And so it feels like um, it's easier to connect with people. You don't get lost in the crowd, and so it makes it a bit more easy to collaborate on ideas with others.
It does. And they also offer like evening dinners where people on the board sign up and you can sign up to go out with them and just have a great dinner and have some good conversation. I don't think any of the others really do that.
That's awesome. I feel like AI is the topic that everyone speaks of, so that's not surprising that that was a keynote.
Yeah.
But the imposter syndrome, that's I don't think I've heard that one before, so that's interesting.
Yeah, look it up. Betty Danowitz. She has a website called If You Ask Betty, and she has podcasts on there about it.
If you ask Betty.com, I guess that's
Yes,
the
correct. Hmm.
if you ask Betty.com. Well, I know that Harmonize. I actually got to attend the USDLA conference 2 years ago. I think it was representing Harmonize. It was in St. Louis, so I know how great of a conference it is, and I think maybe Cheryl we met there at that time. I
Yeah,
think
we did.
maybe.
Hmm.
Um, but any conference you go to, there's all of these sessions you get to choose from, and there's so many amazing sessions. And then sometimes you're like, oh, there's like two or three that I want to go to, and they're all at the same time. So what we thought would be a great opportunity is kind of to if you went to USDLA and couldn't make a session, or this year you didn't get to go to USDLA and you missed out on Cheryl's presentation, this would be a kind of a recap and let Cheryl kind of present what she did there in a webinar form, so everyone can be able to take part in that and see it and hear. So we asked Cheryl to do that today, and she's going to kind of take over and share her presentation she did at the conference.
Okay. Well, I will
Uh,
tell you what. Oh, go
let
ahead.
me I'll, actually please, and I'm speaking for Cheryl here. If you have
Mhm.
questions, please ask those questions. We love questions. Ask them in the
Absolutely.
chat, or if you want to raise your hand, if you have more of a detailed question, we can bring you on and let you speak on the webinar. But yeah, just want to make sure we love questions. I'm
Okay.
sure Cheryl does too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen so y'all can see my PowerPoint.
Okay.
If I can get the right one, here we go. All right, can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, I want to tell you that you're missing out on the excitement that happened at USDLA because 5 minutes before we presented there, we had a little electrical problem. My computer blew up, the projector blew up, and we had to very quickly figure out how to get another one to replace it and get started. So I've been on my computer for like a half hour trying to make sure everything's up, and I'm not going to repeat that. So, but anyways, I wanted to say welcome. Thank you all for being here. We want to talk to you today about some authentic engagement in online learning, and more specifically, how your University of Florida uses active, I can't even say it today, activity design fundamentally changed the way we use AI. So this session is not about banning AI or policing students. It's about rethinking the kinds of learning experiences we design at UF and asking a harder question, which is, are students actually thinking when they work on their assignments, or are they just completing them? Let's get my clicker going here. New computer, so there we go. Okay, I have a QR code on the screen. And if you would like to participate in a short activity, you all can scan that code and you'll go to a Canvas screen like the one on the right-hand side of the PowerPoint here. And you will just put in your email and say, I'm a new user. And then that will let you go to the next page in my assignment. I'm going to get this to work. Okay, I'll give you a couple minutes to do that, or a couple seconds. Okay, so this is basically an activity called Three Images, One Professional Story. One of the challenges that we face as educators is that we often start with content before we address anybody's curiosity about the course. We explain concepts, we assign readings, and then we ask students to apply what they've learned. Instead of doing that, this activity flips that approach, and I will show you in a second the assignment. But basically, it allows them to interact with some content before we teach them anything. So let me just go out of my PowerPoint and pull this up with you. Can you guys see my Canvas screen?
No,
No. Okay, let me do it.
I need to stop sharing. Yeah.
Yep. Let's do it again. Okay, now can you see my Canvas screen?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So on the top assignment here, if you just want to click on that, I use Harmonize for all of my discussions and assignments in this course where I need students to post images or videos or annotate on items. And I just created this little one for you guys so you can see how it works. It has an introduction. You can scroll down further and you will see how to participate in it. See, a couple of people have already done so, which is great. Run with scissors, that's awesome. So we use this because it really engages our students from the get-go rather than just using a regular discussion board where you have that super long thread in Canvas. Nobody wants to read it. Nobody wants to respond to two people, but it's a little more fun if you have some images and some videos, and it's especially fun if you could write on the assignment, write your thoughts right on their posting. So I'll show you that in a little bit, but we decided to move to this type of discussion about 3 years ago. And incrementally, we moved all of our graduate program assignments to it. We are just starting to move our undergraduate science to it because we really think that it helps engage students more than the Canvas tool. All right, so let me stop share again. I have this new mouse, it's crazy.
Cheryl,
Yeah.
I'm following along with you, and one thing I noticed in your instructions that I really
Mhm.
like is there's a section there that says why you're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys include that in all of the assignments and
Yeah, actually,
discussions?
I forgot to say that most of our students are adult learners. So we found out that they obviously don't like busy work. So we like to tell them what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how it relates to the real world. So how are they going to use it when they graduate? And we put this on every assignment and every discussion now so that they know exactly what the purpose is.
That's awesome. I love that.
All right, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Sorry, this is a little complicated today. It is not liking me at all. All right, here we go. Okay, so hopefully you guys thought that story was a little more fun. Are you seeing the PowerPoint now? Okay, good.
We are.
All right, awesome. So hopefully you can see that it's a little more fun if you can put some images in, you can go in and read other people's images. Students really seem to like that. So we do include that in most of our discussions now. Well, in all of our discussions now, let me say. Trying to look back here. It took my window away. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's see if it works from this side. There we go. Okay. So yeah, this is when I wanted to explain what you're doing, how you're doing, and why you're doing it. As I said before, David asked, we put this on all of our assignments and all of our discussion boards to answer the questions before the people have them. We've had a lot of student evaluations come back saying some of these assignments really seem like they're busy work, and we don't get those kind of evaluation comments anymore. We did, say, 5 years ago when I first started here. So we've really changed that. And I think AI has really given education a crisis. We have people who want have copy and pasted answers in their assignments from AI. So we intentionally write them so that it makes it hard to do so. So we ask about their experiences, we ask about their feelings, we ask about their thoughts. So it's not something that AI, ChatGPT can just give them a yes or no answer for. Here's some evidence to back that up. We really want to know what they are thinking about it. So we're kind of focusing on comprehension instead of completion, and the course design that we used to have really would skip the thinking part. So yeah, we designed for the wrong outcome, basically. Now we design activities that make thinking unavoidable from day one. Just a second. We use what's called action first learning. Dr. Carl Kapp is a full professor at Commonwealth University, and I'm a huge fan of his. All of my instructional designers have read this book. I purchased it and gave it to them. We actually had a little book club going about it. And it talks about different kinds of activities that you can get students involved in right away in your module before you teach them anything at all. So we call the assignments basically artifacts, sometimes scenarios or problems, and we ask them to interpret what it means, to share their own interpretations and experiences, and then we ask them to connect it to the course concepts for the instructional materials. And every one of the surveys that we get back, the adult learners are saying, please, God, no more discussion posts. We hate them. So we want to give them a meaningful opportunity to connect with their peers and to connect with their teacher and apply what they've seen and done in their own experiences. And these action learning activities really do that. So we're, like I said, we put this in all of our assignments now, and we really address in the course that we want to know what you're thinking about. We want you to get engaged with your peers right away, because it's really hard to, I'm not going to say make friends, but, work with anybody online, especially if you're assigned a group activity and you don't know who these people are. They're always living in different time zones, so it's really hard for you guys to do it. So the multimodal learning that we have with Harmonize allows them to come in. They can make comments at any time they want. They can actually see videos of people. In my personal branding class, I do require videos in several assignments so that they can see the person and they can, just kind of feel like they're in the room with them. So the multimodal engagement that we have really moves beyond text. It allows voice responses in video, it allows images, and it allows visual annotation. And most importantly for us on the school side, it allows our instructors to really get involved and engaged in the discussion board, because it's so hard to just respond to Bobby and Sally and Sue in that thread. You just know nobody reads it. So this way, the instructor can share their experience, their photo, their video, and it's a little more fun, I think. So this shows you what we did before. Summarize 2 concepts from this week's reading and explain why they matter. Very first assignment. Now we have annotate this campaign image and explain where the audience trust breaks down based on your own professional experience. So that is not a question that you can put in AI and get a black and white answer for. The student has to think about it. So they can actually go down here on the social learning theory page and write on it. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a few slides.
Cheryl, I have a question for you real
Yep.
quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, in these courses, do you tell the students they're not allowed to use AI at all? Do you say it can be AI assisted, or what is your stance with them using AI in general, I guess?
Yeah, what University of Florida asks us to do, and we put this in the assignment that would have them use AI. We purposely ask them to use AI in some assignments, and we ask them to cite it and to show us their prompt, but we don't do it in all assignments. So I can't be the AI police and say
Mhm.
that, Susie copied this. I'm sure there's a way that she could eventually put in, I feel this is stupid, and AI could come out with a great line on that. Um, so it's not 100% um, proof, proof that you can avoid AI, but it certainly makes them think a little bit more. And I think they enjoy it more, so they actually try to post what's real based on what I read in my personal branding class. So this is, again, the same scan code, go back to the same personal branding management, but I am going to switch it over to a different activity here in a second. I'm going to ask those who want to participate to evaluate a LinkedIn profile and determine the professional story it communicates before receiving any information. This is a picture of one guy named Chris, and it looks pretty good, doesn't it? I'm going to show you someone else's. Just a second. All right, let's do share again and get back to my personal branding class. Ah,
Denise just said in the chat that she feels that students need to learn how to use AI, and it will be expected in the job market after graduation. And as an employee, I can tell you I'm expected to know how to use it.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
And that's why I ask them to do it in my personal branding class, because I want them to be able to use it in an ethical way. I don't want them to be sneaky and use it behind. So some of my assignments actually ask them to use AI for like phase one, and
Mhm.
then use AI on a phase two, and phase three would be compare their answers, A and B, to see which response is best for the assignment, and explain why, justify why. So I do allow them to use it. There are some instructors who totally don't and hate it, but I see real value in it. I create images in it for my book club. It helps me be a better writer because I'm kind of direct and sassy. So I will write in my sassy email and it gives me back a very professional email. So all of my colleagues that get serious emails think that, I speak like that, but really, I don't. So the people who are on my team are like, you didn't write that. So, but it makes me sound good anyway. So you're looking at the LinkedIn assignment. And again, you'll see we have the what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then how it applies to the real world. And then we have our instructions. So when I scroll down to it, you can actually use the annotation tools over on the left. There's a little pen, and there's also a little drop mark. It looks like a drop, and you can annotate this image with either of those tools. So people love to do this, and I love to show this Chris because he's very different from the other Chris. And I ask people to take a look at his profile and then let me know if you would hire him just based on his LinkedIn profile. So most people are saying no. What do you think? Would you hire him or not hire him? Just place it in the chat and David can help me out with that.
I know we had someone in the presentation at the conference say they'd hire him to be a DJ.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You might not hire him for a higher ed position or a corporate position, but he looks like a fun guy that could run your party for sure, right? Let me stop share and go back to my PowerPoint here.
I was going to make a joke and say at first I thought that was Alan's LinkedIn, but
All right, so let's go to the next slide. All right, so again, this just explains what I basically explained about the assignment. They have all three items and know exactly why we're asking them to do this. All right, so you've basically just experienced a action first learning assignment in my class. I have this in module 1, and it's before they read anything, before they learn anything about personal branding. I just want to know what they think personal branding is and what they think it looks like, and if they think Chris it has a good personal brand or not. All right. So basically, we learned using through both the multimodal tool and the what, why, and how that it increases what we're required to do from the state of Florida, right? Regular and substantive interactions with our students. It increases original thinking before learning, and it really drives what I think is authentic engagement. It also meets Quality Matters 5.2, where learners are supposed to engage with each other, with their instructor, and the content. So it answers all 3 of those requirements. And we are a Quality Matters University for the graduate program. We build all of our classes, graduate and undergraduate, to Quality Matters standards, which are online best practices. But our graduate programs go the extra step and actually have the certification from Quality Matters. We haven't quite got there yet with our undergrad, but we do carry that certification for all of our classes in the graduate program. Okay, so I also asked, go ahead.
I was going to do a shameless plug. I thought you were going to pause for a minute.
Oh, sure, go
We
ahead.
will be at the Quality Matters conference this
Oh,
October.
good.
Harmonize will be there, and it's in Jacksonville, Florida. So if
Nice sunny
anybody
place,
is,
finally.
hmm so if anybody is going to be there, you have to stop by and say hey to us at the booth.
Yeah, absolutely. I was happy to see that it's in a sunny place because usually it's in, like Chicago or somewhere and it's really cold.
Yeah.
So another one of the assignments that I ask my students to do is a digital footprint audit of their personal brand. They always think they know what's out there, but inevitably they are surprised by something that's out there. David showed me something today. He Googled my
Yeah.
name and a lady's picture came up and it had my credentials under it and it even links to my LinkedIn, but it's not me. So I don't know who that is. We'll have to get that fixed. All right, and this also shows you how I use peer review. I'm a huge fan of peer review and Harmonize because one of the things it does is it automatically connects people. So if Susie submits hers on time, she's my type A and has to get it done. And then Chris is my guy that turns it in at 11:59 p.m. Susie's going to be matched up with somebody who also turned it in earlier. Um, and it automatically does that for you. It lets you put in dual due dates, so you can say what time your post is due, what time your peer reviews are due. And then there's also, you can watch the activity of the students to see who's in there the longest, which I think is kind of cool, and who spent no time in there. Well, let me go back here. And you can ask them, like I said, this one is on a video participation. So the activity shows me how the participation went for that set of days that I outlined there. Okay, and then this is a slide that I just created because it looks exactly like my insights board in my personal branding class, except these are all fictional students. I asked AI to copy it over and make a fake one for you guys. But you'll see where it says last viewed, and you'll see where it says risk, high, medium. It also says low. So it will tell me if, Jordan's not doing really well and he hasn't participated. It will tell me if I've got some people that are kind of at the middle of the road. And then I think coming out soon, next semester, it will also tell me, hey, Bob didn't participate in any discussions until he hit this one. And he did participate in this one. So you probably want to respond to Bob and tell him great job. So I think that is a cool ad that Harmonize is going to do for us. And I'm really looking forward to have that. All right. So before the redesign, students talk to us about them feeling like busy work, just to get it completed. They did it. They didn't really demonstrate any thinking or feeling, and our instructor feedback wasn't that great, really. So now that the faculty are super engaged and harmonized, it took a little while, a couple semesters for them to get on board and learn how to use it. I get people who thank me for having it in their class, which is kind of cool. They are able to give more original, authentic feedback to their students. They see their students creating more authentic postings. And overall, they just say it's like more of a human experience than one where you copy and paste out of AI.
Cheryl, I've got a question from
Sure.
Denise. Um, she was asking with the redesign, you
Mhm.
specifically went out and got harmonized. Do you think that you could have accomplished this in just Canvas without harmonized being an assistant to you?
I don't think so because Harmonize offers some different things for me than Canvas does. For example, Canvas peer reviews are awful. Every time a student has one, or every time my class has one, I always get a student that says, I don't know how to find my peer reviews. I don't know where they're assigned. So it's really hard for them to get to. With Harmonize, it's right there in the sheet as soon as they open it up. And the funny thing is, some of them have tried to beat the system, but it doesn't work with Harmonize. I had one student reach out to me and tell me that the tool is messed up. It did not pair her up with anyone for peer review. And what she failed to tell me was that she submitted her work 2 days after the due date. So, yeah, it's not going to pair you up after the due date because we're done.
Yeah.
But she was trying to get around that and blame it on the tool. And I showed the teacher how he could go into insights and find out, when she posted it, what she was talking about. So now he has a little more information so he can respond to those students. So our peer review really is more at scale. I think our grading and our feedback are easier, and it's more authentic engagement on both sides. And it also helps us recognize those students who are in risk. And like I said before, it helps us meet the Board of Governors, high quality expectations, and it does meet QM review standards as well. Let's go to the next one
From
here.
what we hear, Cheryl, is I
Mhm.
think you can possibly accomplish some of this stuff outside of Harmonize. It's just not going to
Yeah,
be as easy. I mean, that's
right. It's
it,
not going to be as easy. In Canvas, you can't really attach videos with the length that I need. I have them, do a 10-minute video, and it's going to go in there. All I have to do is adjust the timing and harmonize to accept that. And I have them put images in, lots of images. So they can't put multiple images in Canvas. And again, you got that annoying thread where if you have to respond to your peers, you have to go all the way down, find out who didn't respond, and pick one that has no responses. Whereas in Harmonize, everything looks like a social media card, and you can see if people have responded. It will say that right on the assignment or right on the posting where you put your assignment.
and Cheryl, I think I'm correct. You guys at the College Journal, you started out on our pilot program. Is that
We
correct?
did. We did start out on the pilot program because I had already found another vendor and they were ready for me to sign the contract. I just wasn't real happy. There were some specific things that they were missing, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what they were. But it was a real problem for me. And I found out that Harmonize could offer that. So we decided to check it out. And I found out that I really like this tool so much better than the other one. The other great thing about it was they gave us a free pilot semester. That was great. We could try it out before we buy it. And also for me and my executive director, I we both think the pricing is very reasonable. Our student use has gone up because we now use it in all the grad classes. So our price, it'll go up a little bit, but I don't think it's a huge price like you would see from other vendors. So we're really happy with that. It didn't solve our engagement problem with our students, any pairing with each other or pairing with our instructors.
Hmm.
but it really gave us a good instructional design tool so that we could solve the problems to make engagement easier and make learning more visible.
Awesome.
Yeah. So 3 things where you can apply Carl Cap's action first and multimodal learning is design for thinking. Make sure your students have to do something to share their experience, share their thoughts, and in action first, do it before you start teaching them about theory and practice and application. Use engagement that demands interpretation and use tools like Harmonize that really make the engagement visible. So it's not just done for compliance. I checked that box, I completed it, but they actually get interested in what one another says and what the teacher says. So that is what we presented at USDLA, and I'm very happy we didn't have anything blow up here so that you got to see the whole presentation.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So much I learned there. We've worked together a little bit, but there's a lot of details I just had no clue about. Um, because I got to meet Nadine and we've communicated a little
Yeah,
bit. Could you speak a little bit? Because I think we have a passion on your side and our side about
mhm,
accessibility.
absolutely.
Do you want to speak on that just a little bit, real quickly?
Sure. Nadine is one of my instructional designers. She's the oldest member on my team. She's older than I am. And 5 years ago, she was afraid to use Google Sheets and Google Docs. So we worked with her on that. And when she introduced herself basically to AI, she just got really invested in it. So she has created prompts that go through and really check the accessibility of our um, designs in Canvas. And I know Canvas has those tools, Ally and Tidy Up, and she's used those too. But she really has been able to cut through some of the process time and create prompts where it can tell her where the accessibility issues are right away. And as well, we're doing internal QM reviews, and she has created a prompt where we can go in and see if we're meeting all the standards. And we always meet standard 5.2 because of Harmonize.
That's awesome. Yeah, the accessibility piece is something I think a lot of people got focused on earlier this year,
Yeah.
very intently, and
Yeah.
then the announcement was made that there was an extension, but really not an extension. So um, yeah, I think for accessibility, that's another key part
Mhm.
to design because I know I mentioned this on LinkedIn the other day that the myth is that the accessibility is only when students have a direct need for something,
Right.
and the reality is accessibility is really for everyone at all times.
It really is. We also found out that this is just a little side note, nothing about Harmonize, but we found out we could use Copilot plugged into PowerPoint.
Mhm.
And once the PowerPoints were done, it would give
Mhm.
us an accessibility report. So we could go in and immediately fix any of those things.
I like to mention this a lot. I've got a 18-year-old son that just finished his freshman year of college at East Carolina University, and this like very much true case here. He does a lot of his work with headphones on, listening to things, but walking around.
Right.
He's not sitting right in front of the computer. He's not, and I use that as an example that there's a lot of young learners just like him that are not necessarily right in front of the computer screen. They're walking around, or maybe they've got kids, or maybe there's a
Hmm.
lot of things that can be distracting, and that accessibility really does play into helping in those life moments, not just disability moments. But yeah.
Yeah. And we also have in my branding class, for example, we have audio assignments. So where
Mhm.
they do have to just give me, audio, not video, so they can do it when they're walking around and have their headphones on. They seem to really like the participatory video and audio assignments better than writing because I don't know, it's just easier for them, perhaps. They submit much better things when we give them those two options.
I've heard some instructors say that they feel like it's more authentic as well.
Yes, yes, our instructors have said that as well. And
Because
then
when
it
you
really,
write, you
mhm,
try to make it perfect, right? Like you like,
right,
oh, let me go back, let me change this. When you're
right,
speaking,
yeah,
that's the true you. Yeah,
right. And they've really said that it helps them give better feedback to the student because they can kind of see the wheels spinning and what they're really thinking and not something they've copied from AI and just put in the discussion board.
absolutely. Well, I'm going to ask if there's any other questions from anyone who's attending. Alan, did you want to add anything? Any insights that you had?
No, I don't have anything new that wasn't already covered.
Well, we're excited about the partnership with University of Florida School of Journalism. It's I know Alan was telling me about the growth that's occurring, and so that's
Yes.
really exciting. And we're really happy to have partnered with USDLA this year, not only for the conference, but they sponsored a lot of our webinars. And I will share that you can actually find on our website, and I'll pull it up now and share that link. Uh, we do a lot of webinars. Most of it is based on teaching and learning, and it's real instructors sharing what they're doing in the classroom and different ideas. And so they're not um, they're not infomercials where we're trying to sell
Right.
you all the time. I mean, Alan will be the first to jump up and say no. I do want to sell to you, but um, and we do want you to use Harmonize, but we try to make our webinars be not not so much a full on
Sales pitch.
sales
Yeah.
pitch. And so with that being said, our webinars tend to be more leaning on the fact that, they're really good to take away. I'm trying to pull it up now. Of course, I'm talking and doing this at the same
Yeah,
time. So
we're just really excited that you can use multimodal learning in Canvas in a different way because Canvas is so restrictive for me, I think, as an instructor. So this gives us some great options that I don't have in Canvas. And that's another thing that I really like about it. And
I,
it's easy for
I've
my instructional designers to use too.
this is something that came up a lot at the conference I was at earlier in June, and it was
Hmm.
not just Canvas. It's Blackboard, it's
Blackboard, all of them.
Brightspace, it's Moodle.
Hmm.
That the idea that you can take an assignment, whatever type of assignment it is,
Yep.
and say to the students, "I want you to do both a video and an image
Hmm.
and a paper."
Right.
You can't do that.
Mm-mm.
All of the LMSs restrict it to one submission type. And so that makes it really hard to try to be multimodal because then it gives more work on the instructor. Now you got two grade
Right.
entries
Yep.
and so this is one of the few areas where you can go in and say, "Hey, I want you to create a graphic, record a reflection video, and give me a paper," and you can grade that all in one interface within the LMS. So
And you can put the two deadlines in there for your discussion. So you do have them if you want them to do an initial post and annotate on something, but then it's not going to be due until a week later, their annotation. And Harmonize is really good for me to go in and see, oh, these are late. It's got a big red mark at the top. I can see those. So my instructors appreciate that too.
Alan, did you want to say anything about the free pilot that we offer?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone is intrigued and thought, man, I wish I could just try that out, well, you can. We do offer a 1 semester free pilot. So if that's something you're interested in, the way we typically do that is just an institution gets a group of instructors who want to evaluate it and see if it does in fact help. And then if it does, you can move forward with a license. If you don't, it's free regardless. So if that is something you'd like to at least explore, I'm going to put my email, and here I am talking and typing at the same time as
That's
well.
okay. I
Yeah,
just want to say we definitely took advantage of that. We started with 3 classes because that was a huge sell for my leadership. I can try it out for free and see if it engages our students and our teachers before we have to buy it. So it really worked well for us there.
And
Yeah.
I will be going out to Phoenix next week. I'll be at the D2L Fusion Conference in
Mhm.
Phoenix. And then we'll have Louisville, Kentucky coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll be at the InstructionCon conference
Mhm.
in Louisville. And then at the end of the month, Alan will be making his way over to Jekyll Island in Georgia for the
Yeah, I'm jealous.
DLA.
I want to
Yeah.
Yeah.
go.
I keep asking to go to that one, and he keeps saying, "Nope, that one's mine." So,
Take the family of that one. Yeah, and
Right.
then our next one will be at EduCause as well. I know a lot of folks are going to
yeah,
EduCause. So
Yeah,
EduCause, QM, and OLC coming up to round out the end of the year. So you have a lot of different places. If you're going to any of those conferences and you want to swing by the booth, come see us. Say, hey, we'd love to see you. I even got some swag that we hand out, some stickers and bags and things like that. So. I don't see any other questions coming through, so I want to thank both of you so much for joining me today. Cheryl, thank you for not only joining us today, but for presenting at the conference. Amazing session. Love your insights. And
it
Alan,
was
thank
fun.
you for everything that you've done with getting everything together for USDLA conference and joining us today.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of time left over. Nice give back here on the week of the 4th. Maybe some people can go out and enjoy the weather a little bit. Hopefully, it's nice in your neck of the woods. But we'll see everyone later this summer somewhere.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, guys.
bye.